we did the traceability screen is basically more for audit purposes. When the auditor comes to the site and gives a bag label or pallet label and ask for the full traceability of the product. So if we all know information as a product size and the best before or Julian date code at that stage. So if we select the product as Gala, sizes, any of these sizes, I know I've got produced stuff and dispatch stuff on the Express by 6, and I know the Julian date code is D11. So the screen now is going to display everything, is all the orders, all the order details, all the allocations linked to that D11 of the Gala Express. But I've got one particular job which is for this year. If I select my job, that will highlight the pallets allocated to the job as a raw material, all the stock produced with the pallet numbers, quantities, and valid size. And on the left side, you will see all the orders linked to product from that particular job, plus all the order details with the quantities and all the allocations on the bottom. On the right hand side, it will display the product purchases as a raw material, and on the top it will be the consignment information. Now if I select one of my pallets produced, that will display only that one order where that pallet was allocated with the allocation on the bottom. If I select another pallet, you can see from 110 all these allocations on the bottom are towards these all the details and all the references. If I lock my search screens and I want to open one of the sales orders, it will display the full sales order with the where that valid size is contained and what is allocated. So I can see my order number, my depot date, the customer reference number, the dispatch date, the delivery date, and I can see my product here. If I select the plus button, that will give me the allocations, and I can see the pallet numbers and the consignment number. Also the ASN number as well. Same way, I can open a production job. Where I can see a complete production job with the quantity produced, all the pallets allocated to the job, all the description on the top, the line where it's produced, the timings. I can see my costs from here. I can see all the allocations on the side. I can see breaks and start time, finish time of the number of people as well. Same applies to the actual consignment. I can double click on the consignment and that will display the full consignment information. So I can see the sales progress, product intake, actual charges, stock, sales, production, quality information, quality documents. Everything is in one screen and it's easy to trace. At the same way of how we're looking at orders, production jobs and consignments, we can trace individual pallets. So if I select one of my raw material pallets, that will take me to the pallet movement report, where I can see the basic information is what the pallet is, the weights, the production job, where that pallet gone to, if there was any stock movements from sites from one store to another store by user, when it was done, and the transfer reference number as well. If I want to see the same type of report for produced pallet, where I can see all my allocations as well, and if there was any movements against the pallet, they will display as well. That will display current stock and quantity produced, quantity used.